Hi there, I'm Officer Neil with the Aberdeen, Washington Police Department. Those numbers are alarming. Over 28,000 people dead in 2017 from synthetic drugs. For comparison, that's 2.5 times the number of impaired driver deaths in the same year. The sad reality is that when you include all overdose deaths in 2017, the number is over 70,000 people dead. I've had the opportunity to get to know several of those struggling with addiction in our community, and some of them have agreed to speak with me on camera. My only request is that you respect these people for having the courage to share their stories on video.
You know, I grew up in Tacoma East Side and Puyallup, and you know, I grew up with a single mom. My sister had her dad around. I didn't have my dad around. I was always being like, you know, told like, you know, like I'm gonna end up like my dad, an alcoholic and a piece of crap. And me, I was kind of like, you know, the ADHD kid, like, you know, you know, I kind of set to the side. So I kind of had to like find my own like direction, kind of, and like I chose the dark side of the force, I guess you'd say. So,
yeah. All right. So I'm part of that drug use, or
yeah, and you know, like I said, like I was trying to find my own way, like trying to find like something to latch onto, and it happened to be like a family friend, but he ended up kind of being a sicko, and like, you know, I went through like some abuse and stuff from like the age of like 12 to like probably like 15 or 16. And so like that being said, like I thought there might have been something wrong with me, and so like I try to like cover that up and fill that void, and those feelings, you know, like with drugs and alcohol, man.
Okay, so it just kind of makes you numb to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When do you think the first time was that you used? How old?
I must have been like 12 or 13.
12 or 13?
Yeah, I must have been 12 or 13.
Have you ever overdosed?
I overdosed, like, the first time I got out of prison in 2005, I overdosed in the Tacoma Mall parking lot. And I remember how much I did, so like, I've never like done that much since, so I kind of like know my limitations a little bit.
Yeah.
But now it's like, you know, they're cutting that stuff with fentanyl, and it's like, you don't even know, like, I mean, you could be doing a 2-week violation, all of a sudden you get out, and you think that, I can do like 20 cc's in a syringe of heroin, I'll be fine, because I was doing that before, and that was just getting me well. So of course, I can just do this, I'll be okay. The next thing you know, it's like, there's no coming back.
Have you been in a homeless situation, or you always had family?
Yeah, I've been in a homeless situation.
Did you go through high school or anything? Did you graduate, or?
High school was, no, I pretty much skipped.
How about GED?
I got one test left to take, my math test.
What would you tell kids that are, because I mean, you got to know that this is going to go in front of some kid who's not there yet, but at some point in life they're going to be put in front of these drugs. What would you tell them?
Don't cut yourself short, man. Like, it might seem like it's worth it right then and there for the instant gratification, whether it's your homeboys or girlfriends or whatever, like pressuring you to doing it, or even if you're not pressuring you to do it, you just are curious to do it. Just don't, because there's not a redo. And once you squander that innocence, there's no getting that back. You know,
Okay.
The needle takes it away.
Have you ever lost anybody that you lost them, or
Yeah.
known or loved, or
Yeah.
to the addiction or overdosing?
Overdoses and just through the lifestyle, you know, like through the lifestyle, it was just, you know, like my baby's mom. I mean, a lot of people, man, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it just sucks. Like I got like 9 months left to do. Gotta go to prison on Friday.
So prison for you on Friday?
Prison for me on Friday.
For 9 months. How much time have you spent in prison?
Altogether?
Yeah.
Man, let's see, like I did 15, 18, 13, a year and a day, and I'm just gonna be finishing up a 22-month sentence.
Wow.
So that's a lot of years.
6-7 years, yeah.
That's a lot of years, man.
A lot of years of your life.
And then you know, you gotta take into account like the county time, like before going and getting that prison time, and like the violation times. You know what I'm saying? That probably adds up to another couple of years, you know?
Yeah.
Done most of my adult life locked up.
Anything else that you wanna share to kids that might see this?
Orange is not the new black, and hug your mom and tell her that you love her. If you have a father, hug your father, tell you that you love him, and just try to be a good person in life, because karma's a real thing, and what you put in life is what you're going to get out of life, and what you say you are is what you will be, and things that you grow into are hard to grow out of.
I was in 7th grade, and my dad got busted. He had actually went from like using to starting to sell drugs, so he could, you know, keep his habit up. So he went from you know, being a tweaker on the street, you know, clucking whatever he could, to now he was the guy who had the bag, so he could maintain his own habit. Well, then pretty soon, you know, DTF raided him, and I was living at the house at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, so we all got taken by CPS.
When do you think the first time was that you used?
I started off using meth really young. I started off using meth when I was 14, I want to say.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 14. It started out, you know, to be fun. You know, I started out smoking it, and because I was doing pills actually. I was doing pills first, and I went from pills to the heroin because it was cheaper.
It's a story I'm hearing a lot through the interviews I've been doing. Yeah.
Yep. And because it was cheaper, but I started smoking it, and then the smoking didn't do it, so I started firing it, and then, you know, shooting up, and then you know, I started shooting up when I was 18, and
how old are you now?
23.
Okay.
And I mean, it's right now to where I'm spending anywhere from $100 to $300 a day on dope.
Wow.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm spending at least $100 to maintain.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And I've talked to some of the other people that have shared how much they're spending and stuff too. So, but that's a high amount.
Yeah.
That's some heavy.
And that's why I'm stealing so much. Like.
Yeah.
That's why I do that.
And so that's how you afford the habit. I asked the question after this is, you know, how do you afford it? And it's, you go out and you steal
for it. Because, you know, I mean, the sickness sucks.
Okay.
The being sick, once you've been doing the opiates for long enough to build up a tolerance, you know, and then when you don't have it, the withdrawals are terrible.
Talk to me about what those.
Oh man, like, okay, so like the way my day starts out every day is I wake up usually about like 6 a.m. I'll be like throwing up, my bones all hurt, like feels like every bone in your body's like made of glass, and like when you stand it feels like they're gonna shatter, and it just hurts. Everything hurts. You know, you'll puke, you have diarrhea, you know, all that, just all the fun stuff. It used to be when I was first starting to get sick, I could do a 10 sack and it would last me all day, and then, you know, late that night, you know, 9 or 10 o'clock at night, I'd have to do another 10 sack to be able to make it through the night. Wow. But now it gets to be, I mean, like I said, I'm spending $100 a day, you know, and that's a gram and a half is what I'm usually doing a day, just to get by.
Okay, wow. Just to feel like you can function without the pain.
Yeah. Like, I'll do, like this morning, I woke up and I had a 50 sack, and I did that first thing in the morning all by myself. Like, and you know, that's what I'm still riding on right now.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And I mean, I was already worried about it when I came in, because I know that tonight I'm gonna be sick as hell.
Got it.
Yeah.
So, are you, how do you know what's in the drugs?
I don't.
Okay, so does that scare you?
Yeah, I mean, it's scary. It's not worth it to have, you know, to think that, you know, to be cool, because that's what it was for me growing up. You know, I was the cool kid. Everybody wanted to hang out with me. Everybody wanted to be at my house because I was cool, and to me that was what I wanted. I always wanted to be the coolest kid, so doing drugs was cool, skipping school was cool, all that was cool until it wasn't, and I realized that all those people that looked up to me that thought I was cool were never around no more, and I was stuck by myself with nothing. And now all I had was problems of my own that I had to take care of by myself. School is an investment. I wish I would have invested a lot more into school. I never even made it to a day of high school.
Oh, you didn't? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I never went to school.
How about GED?
My brother's got his GED, but no, I haven't done nothing about it.
All right. Well, is there anything that anything else in your life that you'd want to share with the kids listening or say to them?
Just that, just go to school. Seriously, that is the biggest one, is go to school. I wish I would have went to school. I wish I would have stayed in school and just, I never listened to nobody. I was that kid, you couldn't tell me nothing.
Yeah.
I thought I had everything figured out until I was stuck up on my, turned upside down on my head with absolutely nothing figured out.
Right.
So I could realize that I didn't know what was going on.
Okay.
And now I'm, 10 years behind everybody else, and I gotta kind of catch up.
When I started drugs, I was 17. I started mainly because when I was 14, we were on a camping trip, and I got molested by somebody I thought that was a really good person to me. Like, we had thought he was like a dad to us, kind of. We looked up to him, and it was a group of us. It was me and my 2 other friends. And I lost my mom when I was 5, so growing up wasn't the easiest thing in the world, And my dad and me, we always fought, we argued, and I'm just kind of like the rebellious child, I guess. I started with pills, mainly. I was on the pills, I was smoking pills, and I didn't think that it would give me the high that I wanted, and someone introduced me to heroin. Once you shoot up, there's no going back. You can't quit. You getting high any other way isn't going to get you high. It's just no point. And the only reason why I quit doing heroin is because I got into a situation where we were over there on Market Street where I used to live.
Okay.
I was in the garage with a couple people, and I did not tell my dad I was out there. I snuck in there with a couple friends, and we all went out there and we did a hit, and I had OD'd, and they left me. And my little sister found me, and I haven't touched heroin since, so it's been like 6-7 years now.
Okay. So what happened when you OD'd and just OD overdose, right?
Yes, I overdosed. My sister found me cold, pretty much. She didn't think I was even alive, and she called 911, and they got there in time to give me the Narcan. I got it 4 times before.
So you had 4 doses of Narcan, and that brought you back to life, kind of thing.
Yep, and my little sister was so traumatized from it that when I woke up in the hospital, I woke up with her right there squeezing my hand, asking me to never do it again. But now, me quitting heroin, I started meth. I got really bad into meth.
So you leave one and you kind of lean on the other. So do you want to be addicted, or do you?
I do not want to be addicted. Not anymore, because I know that's what I thought I wanted, and I hate it. Every day I hate it. Graduated with a scholarship for basketball, even.
You did.
Yeah.
So you graduated. Some of the people that I talked to haven't. So you graduated and
No, using too at the time. My senior year was what messed me up, and I chose to go from what I call book smart to street smart, which I shouldn't have never done.
Okay.
And messed my whole life up.
So tell me about some of the places. Have you always lived at home, or like some of the places you've?
I've lived at the river.
You've lived at the river.
I lived at the river with one of my ex-boyfriends and his family thing they had going on because my dad wanted nothing to do with them. So of course me and him would fight, so he'd kick me out, and I would have no choice. I've lived in my car, I've lived in my friend's garage, I've slept in a couple of U-Haul trucks in the back room just for random places because you could have a rain, churches, parking lots, just wherever we could find to sleep.
Okay. What was that like being in that place?
Honestly, it makes you think when you're like that too. It makes you want to get clean, but you're so far into it already. There's not hope at that point. It's what everybody feels like, I think, but.
And that there's no hope.
Yeah.
And so all you are after is
just the drugs. That's what your main life. Like when you're so far deep into it, you don't think about anybody else's feelings or what other things are going on. I personally always thought about myself. Like there's something I did to my dad that I have to live with every day. My mom had bought my dad a ring, and I was so down and out that I had nothing, and he had let me come home and take a shower and stuff, and I seen it, and I grabbed it, and I can't get that back, and I have to live that every day because I wanted to get high.
Okay, so you took it and sold it.
just so I can have drugs, and it didn't even last like I thought it was. I thought it would, give me something for, but it wasn't even worth it.
So the addiction it's so strong that you
You won't do anything, yeah.
What in your past would you change?
I would change it all.
All
honestly.
all.
I wish I was staying doing what I was going to do with basketball and stuff.
Okay.
I wish every day, because
So you had a basketball scholarship,
yes.
and then that went the drugs.
Yeah,
You lost that.
because I started the year before I graduated, and instead of staying away from the circle of pills and all that stuff that took me down, I decided to get with one of the big drug dealers from around,
Okay.
and that's what ruined my life right there. But I never listen to it when someone tells you that drugs will numb you, because they will not numb you, they will only make you worse.
Okay.
I grew up with my mom and dad till the age of 15. Okay. And then my parents split up, right? Well, me and my brother, we were stuck with our dad, you know what I'm saying? We weren't
Okay.
gonna leave him. 2 years had went by, and I started to like push myself away, right? Well, my brother never gave up on my dad. Well, my dad slowly, at 41 years old, he got into drugs, right? And, meth and methadone killed my dad at the age of 41.
No, he died from it.
Yeah, he died from drugs, right? Well, my brother Tyler found him dead, and that devastated him, right? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I came back, and my brother had never touched drugs, and he didn't know I was doing drugs at that time. It didn't really hit me at first because I was so strung out on drugs, right? That my dad, it took a while. I sobered up, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. You know what I'm saying? That my dad died. I went to Hokum my whole schooling. I played 13 years of all-star baseball in a row. I had scouts looking at me. At that time, I was 17, graduating from Hokum. A year later, I caught my first prison sentence. All right, that was a 60-month prison sentence. I did 40 months on that.
40 months.
40 months. First
Wow.
one went straight to closed custody. And that's no joke. Walla walla. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You pull up there and there's 50-foot high walls, and you're somewhere. You know what I'm saying? It says Washington State Penitentiary across the 3 football field yard. You're somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
You know?
You've been kind of in the meth and heroin, or is it just?
It's been both.
It's been both.
It's a path of
So-
destruction.
Okay. And so what? Using heroin, and do you know what goes into it, or you like how do you know what you're taking?
I've seen heroin. Look, I've seen heroin that's cut with feces, which would be.
That is the third time someone mentioned that. by
I've
the
seen
way,
cut with feces. I've seen heroin that was bringing across the border that people had in their gas tanks that mixed gas in it. All right, that people still did. You know what I'm saying? I never did it, but I seen people doing it. You know what I'm saying? I've seen. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what any of that stuff is cut with these days. The littlest amount of fentanyl will kill you. I've seen. Yeah.
it's another drug I've mentioned, and a lot of you guys know about.
Yeah.
I'm glad you at least know about it, but yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. The littlest bit.
I died 6 times.
You've OD'd
OD'd 6 times. I woke up 4 times in critical care.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That scare you?
You know what I'm saying?
But you still go back to it, like the addiction. Talk about like how it's got to be strong, right? To either risk that.
I want to do good so bad. I want to, I've ran the streets for so long, that's all I know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to live a successful, honest life. You know what I'm saying? It sucks for me. I'm 35 years old. I've spent a third of my life in prison. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, I'm done. I want to do good so bad. At one time, I did go out and steal things, but I grew out of that.
Okay.
I started selling drugs. Not good.
Yeah.
You know where it led me? 2 prison sentences. And I'm looking at my 3rd right now. You know what drugs lead to? A path of destruction, failure, prison, lack of people's respect, and once again, it's gonna lead back to nothing good comes out of drugs. There's, you might think you're having a good time, doing your thing. You got pockets full of this. You're doing this and that, but out of nowhere, it's gonna smack you in the face, and you're gonna end up in prison. Every time. If somebody offers you drugs and your friends are doing them, please don't do them. Please do not do them. Just turn away. There's other cool things to do. There's a lot of cool things to do besides drugs. Drugs are bad. Drugs make you weak. Don't do drugs, please. That's coming from me, coming from my heart. I can't take back what I've done in my life. Just there's other cool things in life besides drugs, and please don't go down that road. Honestly, please.
Been to prison twice. I've done 18 DOC violations.
Wow. Okay. How many years do you think you've spent in jail or prison total? If you were just asked.
I was 17 years old. I got 33 months in. So.
Wow.
That's 3 years.
Yeah.
I've done a year program in county, 9-month county program. I just did a 7-month one. Okay. I've done 18 violations. I probably got 50 misdemeanors on my record.
Okay.
I've probably done, I'd say 10 years guaranteed.
Wow. And you're how old?
29.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean I'm sick of this, man. I am. I just did 5 months. I was out for 29 days.
And then you're back in here on a DOC violation.
Yeah. The worst place I've been in, just trap houses. I mean, you walk up to the door and there's instructions on the door.
Right.
Yeah,
I've been there.
No fighting or, no disrespect, no coming after 10. If you didn't call, don't show up.
Right.
But I'm still knocking.
Yeah.
And then you walk in and there's garbage everywhere.
Okay.
And
what else is
just people doing drugs.
Wow. See people passed out and sleeping on floors.
Sleeping everywhere. I mean,
how many people at a time would you see in a trap house?
I mean, I've seen 30 people.
Just
everybody's just getting high. That's the only thing that's going on. They're just big drug fest.
People having fun, or is it more just?
If you call that fun.
Yeah.
I mean when you're in that spot in life, that's fun. That's what a drug addict lives for, is getting high.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing. They don't live for nothing else.
How about from an outsider clean going and looking at it? What do you think it looks at someone? It looks like
no, they all hate life, and that's why they're doing drugs, because they're masking all their feelings.
Okay.
They're running from something.
Okay.
That's in their life that they don't want to face, or, a hard time or something, so they're getting high to mask that.
How much at your heaviest use do you think you spend in a day on heroin or that?
$300
in a day.
A day, and I gotta commit crimes every day to
pay for it. That's not the other one. Yes. How do you afford it?
If I can rob somebody or get it, or steal it from somebody, then I'm going to break into a house, break into a car, or a building, business, anywhere that I think there's going to be money that's going to fuel my next hit. I'm going to take the chance, which I've landed in jail multiple times for.
Right. Because you're fueling that addiction.
Yeah. So I'm going to do anything to get that.
Does it scare you? What happens? Like, have you ever almost overdosed or?
Oh yeah, I've overdosed plenty of times.
Yeah.
And
that doesn't freak you out? I mean,
when I'm using?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Like, I honestly, when I'm using, that's what you look for as a heroin addict, is not to OD, but you want to get the closest spot to it, because that's what that drug offers. That's what people like from that drug. When people hear that there's dope going around town that's killing everybody, you better know that dealer's going to be getting the most money.
Really?
Because everybody wants to get that dope out that just killed him.
Wow.
Everybody wants that dope. So, yeah.
So, I mean, could you say you know what's in it when it comes to it? Or no? Yeah.
No. I mean, people say they can smell it and they smell fentanyl in it or so, but you don't know until you put that rig in your body, and and then you don't know until, I mean, it's too late, basically,
Okay. You're looking at kids through that camera right now, right? What would you tell them? I mean, at some point, there's gonna be some kids who are gonna be in front of the drugs. What would you tell them if you could look right at them right now?
What would I say if they were walking up to a situation where they were going to use?
For the very first time, what would you tell
Think
them?
about their people, think about their loved ones, and know that this life is only going to lead to this,
Okay.
or you're going to be dead.
All right, so I'm over here at the Aberdeen transient camps, and someone agreed to speak with me, and I'm gonna go talk with them here in a minute, but I just wanted to show some of what it's like to be out here in the conditions where a lot of these people end up. So that's the river camps.
My addiction and my problem started almost 4 years ago.
Okay.
I was an RN almost my whole entire life.
Really?
I'm 38 years old right now.
Okay. That's a first for me out of the people that I'm talking with. So, yeah.
I am actually sober 9 months as we speak right now.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
But I started using drugs because my husband beat on me.
Okay.
And what happened was...
Sorry to hear that.
He started using drugs. I caught him using them.
Okay.
So in return, you can't beat him, join him in a way, I guess.
Okay.
So I started using drugs so I felt like I could connect with him
Okay.
and his friends and what was going on in his life, and that didn't turn out so well.
Okay.
Like, we got a DV call, cops came, they found weed plants, and then I was the only one on the renter's agreement, and at that point my husband wasn't allowed to be there.
Okay.
So I got a manufacturing charge,
Okay.
which in return I lost my nursing license.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
Got it.
my life fell apart
Okay.
and I started using.
Okay.
And then I ended up in jail for like 240 days.
Wow. Okay.
So I was
And no criminal record before that.
no
at that
criminal
point.
record before that. The drug I started using was meth.
Okay.
And I've never done any other drug.
Okay.
So I had nowhere to go. I was homeless. I wasn't like this before, And it really f***ed off my life. I probably can't put that on there, but
Oh, that's all right.
I don't recommend doing drugs ever.
Well,
It doesn't matter
it's a
what
real
kind it
answer.
is, alcohol, marijuana, pills.
Okay.
None of it should be done by anybody. You don't want to end up down here. I worked really hard to get my RN license,
I know
like
they do.
a
I know
lot
some
of
RNs
years.
that work really hard for that. So.
And to have it taken away because of marijuana, and then my whole life just escalated into a homeless drug addict,
Right.
in and out of jail, stealing so I could eat. And I never stole anything in my life. Like, I've always provided. Most people do drugs to cover up something
Yeah.
that, made them do drugs in the first place. Like, my husband abusing me, I joined in so that maybe he would stop doing that, but it didn't happen.
Okay.
And then I was addicted, and then I went to jail, and then now I'm sober, and I'm doing the right thing, and I come down here and I help people, and I bring food and clothes, and
And maybe starting to pick up the pieces, right?
yeah.
My mom and dad separated when I was young. I mean,
Okay.
like I was 5 or something like that. So I was bounced from one home to either hers or his.
Okay.
She was a drunk and he was a biker. So either way,
Okay.
I was around addiction my whole life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of grew up into
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I grew up. This is just a way of life for me now.
Okay. And so, when, if you were to think back, what kind of stuff did you get into as far as like using? And I mean, did you?
When I was young, I mean, I was like 12, I think, when I first smoked pot.
Okay.
And it scared me, so I didn't do it again until I was like 14.
Okay.
I got really way too stoned, I think. But
okay.
And then that's all I did. I drank and smoked weed until I was 18. Okay. And then at 18, my dad introduced me to meth. Well, it was my dad. I was taking like Ritalin and stuff for ADD, but I was introduced to meth when I was 18, and then I moved I was in Arizona, moved back here to Washington, and
then you said it was your dad at the time?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. How long have you been down here on the river?
I've been down here since 2014.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah.
Long time after my finger, which is another story.
Yeah. Well, go ahead and share if you're willing to share, and you could show.
Yeah. In November, I lost my finger. I got a massive infection in my hand. Went to Harborview. 9 surgeries later, they asked me if I could take my finger off, and I was glad by then. Yeah, take it off, please.
Oh, wow.
It's all just due to the filth and the muck and the drugs, basically, because I wouldn't stop using, and that just really didn't help me heal.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. Down here, life is it's not as easy as people trying to make it out to be homeless. Yeah. It's a struggle every day.
I can't imagine. I mean, you come out on a day like this where, I mean, it's cold.
Firewood's wet. You can't really build a fire. You can't do nothing.
But do you like being addicted, or
I don't?
You don't like being addicted?
I don't. I've lost everything more than once. My family, my relationships, my homes, my cars, everything. I have nothing. I have a backpack full of stuff now. That's it. Don't be tempted. It's not the life that it seems to be. The drug addicted life is not all about money, not all about women or cars or nothing. It sucks. It's low. It's bottom feeders.
Okay.
You'll lose everything.
All right.
I got into it when I was 18 years old. I started using methamphetamines.
What were some of the places you stayed in?
I went from staying on the streets to living in basements of a trap house, a place where people go shoot drugs, whatever you want, all the worst of the worst, and call it home, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I thought that was home for a while.
You're the first person that I've spoken with who's talked about a trap house, so let's talk about that. So you go there to shoot
The trap house is pretty much a home of somebody that doesn't really give a care because they own the house and they're drug addicts too, and it's a place where you can go and do your drugs, do your hookerish crap, or do whatever foul crap that you want. And I'm talking that there's foul stuff that happens in trap houses that you would never want to even say or even describe. Okay. And it's a horrible place. The trap house it's dark. It's the darkest as it gets, man. And you think jail's bad? Live in a trap house.
That's the stuff that people don't see when they're first looking at drugs, going, should I try this? What's this going to look like? They don't see that down the road, right?
They don't see that. Yeah. And then once you're stuck into it after that first hit and that first go, and you're stuck into the mix. You're stuck into the mix for it. It's not easy to escape.
You're stuck in the mix.
When I first hit me methamphetamines and my adrenaline, I'm a upper. The adrenaline was my thing. The go, and not sleeping, dude, not looking. My teeth are rotted out of me, and I gotta get all my stuff.
I can't see you.
You know what I mean? All my upper teeth are gone. All because I didn't give a care. And now I'm taking myself out of that hole.
Can I show them a close?
Yeah.
Do you mind if I grab that?
I don't care. That's what really happens.
So, and this is it from meth or?
That's from smoking dope. That's from smoking methamphetamines. That's from the chemicals and all the just not giving a care about my body and that's what it did to me. And that's just one little piece of what you get, See, I gotta suffer with that on my everyday basis now until I get it fixed. But you're talking about abscess, cyst. People die from that crap daily. This can kill me. It doesn't get it done in time.
Right. I mean, you guys, how do you know what's in it?
Right? I don't know what's in it. Back in the day, fentanyl, and one time when somebody wanted to get a grudge on somebody, they shot them up with human feces. That was a thing.
I've heard that rumor.
That was a true rumor. All because somebody who didn't, a heartless, soulless person wanted to get at somebody, and then they shot him up with human feces. They killed him right on the spot. So you don't know what's in it. You don't. Right. You don't know what's in the meth anymore either.
So it's a pretty big risk then, right?
It's a big risk.
Yeah.
If I was looking at kids right now, and I could tell them, maybe you were going through the same situation me, like crappy parenting, this and that. Hey, go find a hobby. Find something to fill that void. Don't fill that void with wanting to do drugs and thinking you're cool about it. It is the crappiest, nightmarish, darkest, evilest thing you ever come across. There's many things to fill that void. So if you can fill that void, hey, with something better, hey, something that can bring you somewhere in life, then do it, dude. Don't come where we're at, because this lifestyle is the crappiest lifestyle you ever live, and it's evil, and you don't want to be there. You don't want to be there, and that's coming from heart. And,
I can tell that. So thank you. I appreciate that.
In junior high, I started smoking weed. Started selling weed as a kid. That did nothing. I mean, I thought it was all cool because I was always a guy in high school. He had all the weed, and then when I was in the ninth grade, I got caught with 17 grams of marijuana, and that's what started. My life started being a downward spiral until I got caught with that, and I always got pretty good grades, and I loved school. And finally in the ninth grade, I got caught with it, and they tried to charge me with a felony. At 15 years old, I didn't know what to do. It was
15.
15 was a felony trying to sell weed in the high school, and they also caught me with a knife. So they kicked me out of every school district in the county. I met this girl when I was 15 years old. She loved my life for 4.5 years. I dated her for, and we had this daughter. Rest in peace, Eliana. 3 o'clock in the morning, I got a call. My mom. Somebody called my house phone, and my mom waked me up. Jeff, wake up! Jeff, wake up! I wake up like, what? You know? Ellie's dead! Ellie's dead! I'm thinking, what the heck? What do you mean Ellie's dead? And I run over to the ambulance, and there's my baby on a stretcher, and a bunch of tubes to her, and the paramedics are trying to revive my daughter. I still remember to this day, right when you go in the hospital where the ambulance goes, the first room to the left right there, and all I remember is I'm trying to yell, save my daughter, and this one Officer Lemke was up there, and then boom, more cops started coming up because I started freaking out. I was like, man, this is not cool, this is not real right now. And the doctor looks at me, so would you like to hold her one last time? And I just, what the hell do you mean hold her one last time? Like, I was just loving life, everything was just going for me. And then boom, my daughter's turning purple in my hands, and I'm holding her. 25-day-old baby holding her in her hands, and that's when hell hit me. And ever since that day, it's been a downward spiral, fast downward spiral. He passed away in the hospital, and then one day I'm fishing, and I was doing prescription pills, and everybody thinks, oh yeah, we can do pills, they're legal. No, that's the worst addiction. One of the worst addiction I ever did was painkillers, oxycodone 30s. I was smoking those and couldn't get me high anymore, so it's like, my buddy's like, hey man, I got $10, we go get some heroin. I'm like, I used the excuse of my daughter dying for an excuse for me to get high.
How much do you think you spend average a day when you're using heavily when you were out?
When I'm using heavily, I'm probably spending $100 to $300 a day, and I started using the needle, and
I've heard that progression too.
Oh man, that's one of the best feelings in the world. You think you're on top of everything, and then coming down, it's like, man, it's like I would do whatever I would do whatever it takes to get drugs. You think like family's family, family should be over anything, friends or anything. You should choose your family over anything. I would go and my dad would be at work. I would sneak into the garage and I stole everything from my parents. Like I don't know why my parents still are talking to me.
So your parents love you. They're good people.
They're awesome people. The best people I could ever even ask for on earth, and those are the first people I do wrong because of drugs. It's like when I'm sober and I think about the stuff I did, it's like, what the heck was I thinking? It's like those are people that would do anything for me. And then those are the first people I dirtbag. Like I rip off. That's drugs numb you out. You don't think about what's gonna happen to other people's lives. All the car pranks I've done to people, all the stuff I stole from people. You don't think about that. You don't think, you're in the moment. You don't think about anybody's feelings. You don't care what people think about you. You're doing anything to get your next high. And the next high is like, I'm always looking for that first rush. first time I did heroin, I was on top of the world. I felt great. Oh yeah, this is awesome. I'm always looking for the next high. You can never find the next high. I don't care
You can't
what.
quite get up to that.
You will never be able to get up to that. Like this last time I OD'd, when me and you, when you were
Found you in the alley.
found me in the alley, dead on the doorknob. I was clean for 4 months off the heroin. I still did meth. You know, I told myself maybe I could just do this. You know, maybe I could do meth and not heroin. Only a matter of time until you do heroin again. And I was at a friend's house and he was like, "Hey, you want a goofball?" And a goofball is meth and heroin in the same needle together, shooting at the same time. It's like a you feel up, you feel down, you feel up, you feel down kind of rush.
Okay.
And I remember I've been walking out of the house and I didn't want to do the hit in the house, so I go in the alley and I did the hit in the alley, and it was $5 worth of heroin. The heroin is so strong these days. I used to be able to do it like now it's called pure. I used to do heroin when it's called regular. Regular, you could do $20-$30 worth of it, you know, it feel alright, you know what I mean? Now they have pure heroin that's cut with fentanyl.
Fentanyl's the name that some of the other guys.
Yeah, and that stuff is strong.
Scary, right?
I did $5 of it because I was sober for so long. $5 killed me. I remember I took the hit of meth and heroin. I looked at my friend Stacy and I was like, I'm gonna OD. And I remember going as fast as I can to the house where I live now, right across from 7-Eleven. There we got family.
Yeah.
And I remember somebody give me Narcan. I'm ODing. And I remember my buddy Billy, he's slapping me. Wake up, Jeff! What are you doing? You try to talk to him. I'm like, what are you talking to me? I need Narcan, the stuff that counteracts the heroin, so that you can help save somebody's life, you know. And boom, I'm out. And I remember waking up, looking all around. There's an audience of people outside there, and I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? I'm looking at everybody like, what the hell just went on? And I remember the paramedic saying, "Sir, we just give you a 4 vials or 800 milligrams or whatever of Narcan, and you just OD'd." So I went where my girlfriend was, and she lived in a trap house where.
And so for some of the kids who don't know what that is.
A trap house is a house that's, say, it could have been a nice house, but now since a bunch of drug addicts live in there, there's pile high of clothes everywhere, garbage, corner is just packed full of garbage. There's syringes everywhere. People are stepping over syringes, sweeping syringes into the pile, and uncapped needles. It's just the grossest spot you could ever. It's like a nastiest place. It's like a junk. It's like a dump. Think about a dump in a house. Heroin makes you sick, like sicker than a dog. If you don't have it, you will do anything to get it, because you're so sick that you don't care what you do. You rob your own parents. You rob a dead person. You rob a grandma. You do anything it takes to get that high.
How do you know what you're getting?
You don't. A couple years ago, people were cutting the heroin with human feces. They don't care if there's gonna be 100 people dying off the stuff.
What else have you sacrificed? I mean, you've done heroin. What's it done to you?
It is my teeth started going out because one day this is when my teeth started really messing up. I had no teeth right now just because of heroin and meth. And I was 18 years old with perfect teeth. I went to the doctor and the dentist every 6-month checkup until I was 18 years old. Got my teeth cleaned. I had perfect teeth until I was 18 years old. That's when I started doing drugs. I have no teeth right now because of meth and heroin. You know, if anybody ever offers you anything, you know, just because the cool kids are doing it, if you don't want to be like the cool kids are not the kids who do drugs. The cool kids are the kids that are doing sports, doing anything but drugs. Don't put this. If you're at a party, you're drunk, somebody pulls out some weed, don't even smoke the weed. That is going to be I used to use the excuse, oh, weed's not a gateway drug. Weed only ends up doing more stuff. You're always going to want a bigger high. There's not going to be anything that follows the first high of anything. Like, you're going to be, once you do weed, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I want to do something else. So you're going to do something else that's legal. So pills, say, let's go do some pills. No, don't ever do pills. Just because it's legal, don't do it. And no matter what, if somebody offers it to you, run the other way, you know. nobody's gonna look at you different, you know. I mean, the drug addicts might, but the people that actually mean something that matter are the people. They're not gonna offer it to you. Put yourself around positive people and people that want to do something with their life instead of people that just want to bring you down. The person that offers you something, they don't care about you. They're just mad that they're in an addiction, so they just want to ruin that for everybody else. Don't do it. If you do it one time, kiss yourself goodbye, because it's gonna be hard to pull yourself out of it. I've been in addiction for 15 years now. I haven't pulled myself out of it yet. Don't, whatever you do, be that strong person, and don't ever pick up the pipe. Don't ever pick up pop a pill. It's gonna be hard to pull yourself out of it. Probably can't count on my hands and toes how many good friends I've lost since high school to drugs and alcohol.
At a young age.
At young ages. I mean, 15, 20, 25 years old. You still got 50 years, 60, 70, 80 years to live. It's like, who wants to cut their life short like that just because they want to get high? You know, the real high is raising kids, having a family, doing the good things in life, going to baseball games, going to, watching Seahawks, going to camping. That's the truth. Going hunting. That was my life. Hunting and fishing. There was no more fun than that. Now you're doing these drugs. I'm like, yeah, these are funner. No, they're not. When I was 18 years old, I caught a felony. I can't own a gun no more. That pretty much ruined my life for being able to do anything good I wanted to do.
Just share a little bit about your upbringing, if you can. Like, you had mom and dad growing up. Did you?
I was adopted growing up.
Okay.
So, growing up, I always wanted to know whether my mom and dad really cared when I still had my foster mom,
Okay.
which was a hell of a good lady, but I was always curious on my birth parents, and when I found out they were drug addicts, I guess that was a crutch to lean on.
Okay.
It always made me wonder about drugs. Why did they abandon me for drugs? So I took the lead with drugs when I got the chance to do it.
When did you first use? How old were you?
High school, first started off with drinking, then started off with pot.
Okay.
And freshman year pot, and then towards my senior year, heroin and meth.
Okay. All right. So senior year, did you end up graduating, or?
The drugs got in the way.
Drugs out of the way.
Yeah.
Do you have your GED, or are you planning on going back, or?
Right now, I plan on going back, but I haven't been back to do any schooling, and it's been 7, 8 years.
Okay.
The most I spent in a day and ended up with nothing the next day was probably like $80 to $100.
80 to 100 bucks.
And that was just to myself throughout the day on meth and heroin.
Crazy.
And I have to start over again. And that was from stealing from people, from stores, or just ripping people off.
Have you ever lost anybody that you've known over addiction or anything, or?
My aunt, my biological aunt overdosed. My mom, my birth mom.
She died from?
Yeah.
Okay.
My birth mom and her was shooting up smack and overdosed. She died.
Okay. What's like a scary moment for you? Have you
I have a couple scary moments. I recently got out of treatment, and I did just about 2 months in treatment. And when I got out of treatment, I was headstrong about being clean, but I went back to the same thing, like the same area, the same crowd of people. So I started doing the same things, and I started shooting up heroin, and I overdosed within the first 2 weeks of being out of treatment, and ended up in the hospital twice for it.
Wow, crazy. Did you guys carry Narcan or something?
Yeah, my girlfriend's mom had to do CPR on me and make sure I kept breathing, and they Narcaned me, and then the paramedics came and took me to the hospital.
That's crazy. You hear yourself talk right now? I mean, someone
Yeah.
had to do CPR on me, and like
Twice within the same week.
that's a huge risk, right? What if she wasn't there, right? I mean,
I would be dead for sure.
okay.
Know what the answer about it.
So, do you know like what goes into the drugs that you're using, or is
No, not really.
So that's like another risk, right?
Yeah, I mean, I hear there's certain like pharmaceutical fentanyl and stuff like that, but
super scary.
that's like one of the main things in heroin, I guess, nowadays, and that's what I guess killed me. Well, made me overdose.
Right, because you don't know how potent it.
Yeah, and then there's like some dope that has stuff in it that's giving people sores all over their body and stuff. I don't know.
Right. So talk to me about some of the places you've lived, because I've known you when you've been just staying wherever
Down and
you
out.
can. And,
Yeah.
So talk. You know where the video's going. It's going to the kids, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, what are the conditions like? Where have you stayed? Where?
From start to finish, I lived in houses with my friends, living with my parents that cared for me, then living with my friends, to living with at a house, drug house on the couch, to living in a tent, to living in somebody's garage, to hoping I could go back to jail to live there.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me about kind of where you came from, and did you have mom and dad and that kind of thing? Or?
Yeah, I had a mom. I actually got two moms, really.
Okay.
At birth, I was given up for adoption, and so my mom, Nancy Parent, she adopted me. First person who ever cared about me.
Okay.
You know.
Foster mom.
Yeah. But I mean, I had a brother that was 11 months older than me, and so who would have been my dad, died right before I was born, logging.
Okay.
And so, since she's such a good person and all that stuff, she was able to pull strings and adopt me, even though at that time it was supposed to be mothers and fathers in the house. Yeah, so I was adopted at birth. I met my real family when I was 12 years old. Come to find out, my biological dad died 2 years before I met my real family.
Okay.
So, no dad, even though I have a lot of brothers. I smoked weed when I was 14 years old.
Okay.
And that's my gateway drug. You know, once I was 8 years old, I knew I was adopted. And so, I guess around that time, I started asking questions. I was like, why isn't my hair blonde like my brother's? Why don't I look like this? And then my family told me about it, that I was adopted. And so I don't know if it was partially abandonment issues from inside or whatever.
Yeah.
Or if it's just genetics, because my biological family were drug addicts also.
Yeah.
So,
did you know that or no?
Yeah.
You knew that?
Yeah. I mean, at a young age, I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
It was, and I mean, I think maybe my family telling me about my biological family that they're drug addicts and they're outlaws or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe kind of influenced me a little bit, as in like that's how I got to be then.
Yeah.
It could have been that, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, you kind of said at first something about going to a party. It was kind of like that, man. I went to a party and I just never left.
Okay.
I just stayed there.
So
type thing.
What's it like when you use like was yours more meth or you heroin or both, or is it? Which one's worse?
I mean, there's just different times in my life. Like before it was meth, it was in the mid '90s and stuff. It was crank.
Okay.
And then the chemicals were separated from everybody, and the drugs changed.
Okay.
So before it was crank. It was the stimulants,
Okay.
meth. But then I'd do some downers every once in a while. I'd do heroin sometimes and cocaine.
Okay.
And so there's been, thankfully I would get arrested and be saved from myself and drugs.
Okay.
And so there'd be times that I would be clean,
Before, like, you hate getting arrested, but it can be good.
Yeah, I mean, anytime these days, anytime I get arrested, man, right when I go onto the bed, I cry and I'm so happy that I don't have to do drugs. It sucks what the situation is and what I've lost, but at least I don't have to use.
Right. Were you ever like in a homeless situation or?
Oh yeah.
Rough? What's that like? What are some of the places that you stayed at? And describe them.
I've stayed on the side of the freeway, living in I mean, living on the streets in Aberdeen, I did that for years.
Yeah.
You know, in the cold rain, in the little crevices of the alleys and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was unfortunate when I came home one time and most of those buildings were torn down. I was like,
Where's
to block the wind? You know, where our little houses go, man. But,
Yeah.
But a lot of being on the streets, man, and living from couch to couch, and and going to. I mean, if I could get a little bed and get a hit at nighttime, the night wasn't that cold. It wasn't that wet. It was easier to survive that way.
Right. Kind of numbs you to the elements.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be lost through the drugs. I mean, whether physical property or relationships. I mean,
I have lost everything.
Everything.
Everything. Drugs take everything from us. Take everything. All the way down to every ounce of freedom you can even imagine having. To where I'm just a maniac in prison, and I'm taken away from people because I'm violent, and put in IMU to where I have no human contact 23 hours a day.
IMU?
I'm in intensive management unit.
Okay.
They take us out of society and put us in jail because we are a threat to society one way or another.
Okay.
And we're thieves or we're harmless to people or whatever it is, or harmless to ourselves.
Yeah.
And then we get taken out of society, which is one thing, but then we'll go to long-term places or whatever, even in jail. If we can't maintain around people in physical contact, then they separate us from people.
Okay.
And just leaving a cell by yourself, and that's I found my bottom in places like that. But like I was saying, it takes everything. It takes everything, man. My children, my family, my friends, my life, man. It's like at a blink of an eye, decades are gone. I'm looking at a third strike right now. Hopefully.
What does a third strike entail?
Life without the possibility of parole, never getting out.
Wow.
Natural life till I die. Over drugs, every crime I've committed, everything I've done, my whole history is because of drugs.
I appreciate you sharing. Because it's not easy to do, man.
No. This, drugs is, drugs takes everything from you. Yeah.
I mean, drugs, everything, like you said, is from the use of drugs.
Drug use, yeah. Yeah, when I'm clean, I do not get in trouble. I work. I stay with my family. I raise my kids. Having fun is one thing, but if you happen to sadly be influenced by drugs and alcohol at this party, please go to sleep and sleep it off, and don't do it the next day. You can always go back to this party years later. The party's always going to be there. It may sound like fun. It may appear to be fun. You may be having fun, but drug use controls us, and it's really not fun. It's really not fun, and the biggest thing I regret of using drugs is the time not spent with my family and my loved ones.
Something that maybe everybody takes for granted, right?
Very much so. Yeah.
So I don't know if you have anything else you wanna say, but it's up to you.
I don't know. Like I said, man, just don't use. If you do, just don't do it again. Love life, and cherish it. It's precious, and you can lose it. So please don't lose life.
It's a real statement, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank
man.
you for doing this.
Yeah.
I hope you have found these interviews to be meaningful, and that you will remember these stories if you ever find yourself in front of drugs. If you are in need of help, here are some resources.
You were the shadow to my light. Did you feel us? Another star, you fade away. Afraid our aim is out of sight. Wanna see